What is going on, everyone? It's Johnny here with the MMArcade, and I'm here with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Mate, how are you going?
I'm good. What's going on?
Not much, man. You just got back from the UFC 305 press conference. We are here in Perth, Australia. You're set to fight Tai. Mate, how did the press conference go? The energy was really high?
Yeah, first of all, good energy. The crowd was pumped up. Makes me feel good. I want to go to war right away.
Yeah.
But we'll keep it for Sunday. Yeah, I can't complain about the press conference. It was real good.
Yeah. So the first question that I wanted to ask you, recently you've spoken about, you went home to Suriname recently. How was that like? And how important was it for you to go there to prepare? Because you mentioned that you actually haven't been there in a little bit. Is that right?
That's correct. After my last fight,
Yep.
I went back to Suriname, get back in the mix with the people, get myself grounded, get myself recharged, back with the country is what I needed. My body was asked for it. So I went there and then I started a little bit of my camp there before coming back to the US. So my camp started there.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk as part of this, fight and the press conference about how the UFC wants to go to South Africa. You haven't fought in South America, I think, since your debut in Brazil. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Would you like to have another pay-per-view and a fight in South America?
Definitely. For Suriname, even better if we go to Suriname.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I would love to fight in Brazil again. I had a good experience in Brazil. And yeah, I can't wait to make that happen again.
Absolutely, brother. And I hope you do get that opportunity, because as you've seen, the energy with the Perth crowd is insane. I couldn't imagine what it would be like for you when you were in South America.
I'm telling you, it's crazy, and it feels really good fighting close to home, or even better if you fight at home.
For sure. So could you talk us through your recent win with Shamil Gaziev? I mean, you've never had a fight end in that fashion where the other fighter has retired. How did that feel? What did that do for your confidence, both physically and also mentally, moving forward?
First off, we've been working on it. We know that if the fight goes longer, we'll break him. So we've been working on a lot of technique, working on a more complete fighter than only a knockout fighter. You can only go for a knockout.
For sure.
You have to have the ability to go 25 minutes or at least 15 minutes. And that's what we have. But if needed, I prefer a knockout.
Absolutely.
Because that's me. Yeah.
And speaking of knockouts, you are fighting Tai Tuivasa, who is very well known for knockouts, as you are as well. How do you see this fight going with Tai? How have you prepared for it?
Definitely, I think this one is a good one. Style-wise, this fight match each other.
Yeah.
Two heavyweights. The way I see it plays out, I'll get him out of there in the first round.
Yeah. It was very funny in the press conference. Someone asked Tai about, he's fought a lot of wrestlers recently. He's looking forward to fighting you because you're a striker. You recently hinted that you might mix it up a little bit. Yeah. And then he said no, he just wants to stand there and bang with you.
Nah, I'm telling you, it's MMA. I don't trust that,
For sure.
So you got to be smart and be aware of what can happen. But I prefer the fight on the feet.
Yep.
And other than that, I'll go in there and make my magic happen.
So when you look at your prep with Tai versus someone like Gaziev, how has your fight camp and preparation changed drastically, or is it pretty much the same? It's
pretty much the same. We increase the striking more, but you're not training the wrestling. You have to do the wrestling. The Monday practice, the Wednesday practice, which is wrestling. Practice after striking practice.
Yeah.
So I had to do it. I did it. So I'm aware of what's happening, and I'm ready to go.
And was this a fight that you were particularly interested in? Because Tai is ranked 10th, I believe, at the moment in the heavyweight division. Were you really interested in this fight, and what do you think it might do for you if you did happen to win?
It's definitely an interesting fight, and Tai ranking 10 in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Beating him, putting me on the number 10, which is good. And it's not that it's a fight that I was looking for, but anybody that's ranked above me, I'll fight you to get your spot and climb back the ladder to the top 5.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of potential opponents and working your way back up to that top 5, is there anyone in the future that you think could be a fun fight or an interesting fight? I mean, Tybura, Spivak, anyone like that? I believe you were actually set to fight Spivak at one point, or is Tybura?
Both. It was
okay.
I was set to fight Tybura in Jacksonville, and he got sick, pulled out, and then Spivak had the opportunity, and I don't know, somehow we didn't do the fight, but both of them, like one of them can be the next,
Yep.
especially if they rank above me. Right now, I'm also looking at like fighting also rematches. Who's ranked higher?
Okay.
Looking at the division right now, it's kind of stuck. So I got a chance to get to write things right that was wrong.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to go in there and make that happen.
And you fought a fair few number of the fighters in the top 10, so there could be a couple of good rematches there in
Oh,
stock for you.
definitely. I see a couple.
Yep.
I'll get this job done Sunday, and then we start talking about that.
Now, I know you've been asked this question a million times, but just for the sake of the video, how do you see this fight ending with Tai?
I knock him out. I get him out of there the first round. Definitely. Yeah.
So I asked the community on MMArcade a few questions that they wanted to ask you. Top of the list was, how did you get your name Biggie Boy?
Biggie Boy.
Did you give that to yourself or?
No, I was given it for my childhood. They couldn't say my name, and I was a basketball player back then.
Yeah.
So I needed to make a ball. I was in the area to make the ball, and it was the winning point. And I kind of make the ball. It wasn't the perfect way, but I made it. And then they say, "You make the ball, you Biggie Boy." And
Nice.
from that, like driving back to the neighborhood, everybody in the bus was like, "Biggie Boy." Yeah, and then so I kept the name, and
That's
yeah,
sick.
that's how I grew up with.
So I got to ask you about that as well. Why go from basketball to MMA?
I was like, we were young. I was what 10, 9,
Yeah.
and we were doing all the sports in the neighborhood. I was doing football, basketball. Yeah, so we were doing both of them.
So at the media day, you were asked the question about who do you believe is the actual heavyweight champ. It generated a lot of discussion online, your response in particular. Were you surprised by that you just said what is the actual reality? John Jones is the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I mean, why you even consider it to say Tom Aspinall is the champ?
Yeah.
If he doesn't fight John Jones for the belt, or the belt wasn't vacated. So the champ is the champ. If I'm the champ and I'm hurt, that doesn't mean you're supposed to fight for a belt and say I'm not the real champ. You should wait till I get healed, and then come back, and then we settle things out. That's how I think.
Do you have any thoughts about how that fight could go if John Jones were to end up fighting Tom Aspinall after whatever happens with Stipe Miocic?
I definitely think it's gonna be a scary fight. Tom, with all his ability, he's been perfect since then. And not to take away from John Jones, his style is incredible. He's an incredible fighter. But I also want to see where that fight will go. But I don't want to speak on it. I want to see it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think everyone really wants to see it as well.
Definitely, I think the same way.
For sure. So recently you also said some stuff about Alex Pereira in that he's doing very well at light heavyweight. Of course, he's the champion. But don't come up and mess with the big boys. It was something along those lines. How do you think Alex would actually go if he did decide to move up to heavyweight?
I don't know how it will go, but the big boys are the big boys.
Yeah.
If you can't take a hit, you can. But if you can't, you go to sleep. That's it. Like, you don't mess with the big boys. And if you do, you better have a strong chin, or you better be fast as hell.
I mean, coincidentally, Tai Tuivasa trained with him recently, and he said that he got, and his words, not mine, he got punched the shit out of, and it was one of his first training sessions back. Do you take any learning lessons or stock from that?
That means he's not ready for what's coming Sunday.
All right. So Jairzinho Rozenstruik is fighting Tai Tuivasa at UFC 305 Perth. Mate, do you have any social media? We'll link everything below, but on Instagram, where we can find you?
For Instagram, you can find me on Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rozenstruik, and on Facebook, Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rozenstruik, and also on YouTube, I'm putting live stories and what I'm about. So follow me on YouTube as well, Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rozenstruik.
I'll get all the links, link them in the description below. Please go follow Jairzinho, mate. Thank you for the chance to interview you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, mate. And we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
Let's go.